Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
We want you to be a part of it too. Please drop your comments, questions, your takes. We'll read them. We'll bring them into future shows. Please hit like, subscribe, join our conversation every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. And what a weekend, Joseph.
Wow. It was a great weekend. Spring is in just full-blown mode right now out here in North Georgia. It's beautiful weather, mid-70s-ish. Great. The pollen's settling down finally. But man, it feels great outside. The golf courses are greening up. The greens are getting back to, where they should be, getting nice, 9 and 10 on the stems up here. Can't get them too fast up here. Everything's kind of in the mountain hills area. So, 9 or 10 is really like a 12 on most holes. Got an eagle last round at a beautiful course called Chicopee Woods up here in North Georgia. Opening hole, par 5, driver 7-iron to about 20 feet and sunk the putt. So that was a nice way to start the round.
Oh, man, congratulations. Hold on, golf clap.
Wait, no. It was like live. Yeah. The music blaring. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah. Hey, speaking of golf, one of my favorite courses that I've had the luxury of playing is Harbortown. It's a public course out there in South Carolina. And if you ever get a chance and you're in that area, you can play it. It's about $400, probably overpriced, but it's a PGA course that most people know with a big lighthouse on the finishing hole. But that was a fun tournament to watch. Scottie and Fitzpatrick coming down to the wire. Scottie closed a 3-stroke deficit in the last few holes, taking it into extra holes playoff, which Fitzpatrick won on the first playoff hole. They play 18, right after the round. But that's a great finishing hole, man. That drive is hard. Second shot's tough. Fitzpatrick hit a 4-iron, 202 yards, howling wind to literally 8 feet. It was a beautiful shot, and well-deserved. He'd kind of fallen out of the top rankings, Fitzpatrick, over this last year. So he's kind of on a comeback here. So once again, Scottie is the bridesmaid.
So that helps Fitzpatrick's ranking.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Back in it.
Yeah, no, it's good. And, one of the things that caught my attention, this is a signature event, which, they have about 8 of those now, maybe 8 or 10. They might have added a few more. So you got bigger fields. This is the tournament right after the Masters, obviously. So you typically are missing some people, like the Masters winner doesn't typically play in it and all that. But the purse was $3.5 million for the winner. Don't forget, Rory won $4 million for winning the Masters. Now, there might be more that comes along with that, but $4 million for the Masters, 3.5 for, Harbortown. I don't know. It's pretty close on the purse there. So anyways, good for him. And I'll tell you what, I'm keeping my eye on Live Golf. I think everything is hinging on what Bryson DeChambeau wants to do. He's up. This is his last year under contract. For re-upping, it's estimated it's going to cost $500 million. Think about that. Bryson has said, hey, I think he would be just as happy to just play, YouTube golf, where he's making a lot of fans and fortune just playing golf on YouTube with, Horvath and other people like that, good golf and things like that. And then playing in 3 of the majors, which you're allowed to do if you've qualified. So he could play in 3 majors and then just make a fortune off just playing on internet golf. It's kind of a crazy situation. Live in Mexico, they said it turned a profit. I don't know if it did or not, but I don't know, man. That whole situation's pretty crazy. So, big race this weekend in NASCAR. What happened?
Tyler Reddick won.
Wait, what? Who?
Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick.
Again.
Are you talking about the guy? This was the 9th race this year in NASCAR. The 9th race. Tyler Reddick won another one? 5. So he's won 5 of the 9 races. What the I mean, I don't know what the record is. I don't know what, back in the day, dominations by the king and all those other names, but that's got to be up there with the best start, at least of anyone ever.
Approaching Earnhardt territory.
Yeah,
Close. You're right.
yeah.
The Kansas Speedway Advent Health 400. And it went into OT and last lap move by Tyler Reddick to win it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
he's
yeah.
this is total domination.
I mean, I guess yeah, he had to pass him like late in the lap too, like on turn 3 or something like that. 5th win on the first 9. I did take the liberty of kind of doing a little research. Not that we're experts, but I did see that in 1987, Dale Earnhardt won 6 of the first 8. I mean, talk about boring. But yeah, no, Reddick in today's racing, I'm not saying it's easier or harder, but congratulations to Michael Jordan. I mean, wow. What I think I'll get into NASCAR racing. Yeah, okay, good job.
And I feel bad for Kyle Larson just like I do Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel more sorry for Larson than I do Scheffler. Scheffler's been there, done that. You know, it's not like he needs the wins to validate himself or anything like
True.
that. But yeah, but I get what you're saying, Larson. Like, what? I had it. I had it. Yeah, no, you didn't.
And I read up a little bit about Tyler Reddick. You would think all the other racers like really hate him. You know, he's out there spinning donuts afterwards, and just you think he's brash and this and that. But he's actually, the description about him is he's just chill.
I
He's a
think
great guy. He's
I
only
think
5'5" too.
well, hey, less weight in your car, I guess helps. Isn't he from California? I think I'm sad I don't really know this, but I think he's from California. I also think he's, married, couple kids.
Yeah,
I think he's kind of, got a good foundation. This isn't, his only thing going on in his life kind of thing. That usually helps with, your attitude, your demeanor. Yeah, no, good for him. Really couldn't happen to a nicer guy kind of thing so far. So I hope he keeps. And once again, I've said this before, but it's kind of like you're winning on all these different types of tracks. So you're not just a one man show. You're not just like Nadal winning on French clay and tennis. Not that he wasn't winning on it, but he's not a specialist. He's winning on different races, different situations. So good for him. I always picture too, and Larson. You see him coming. You got the pedal to the floor. It's probably, if you've ever been to Disney World, remember those, Grand Prix race cars you used to drive?
they
They were
were
on
the
the metal
best.
track, so good drivers wouldn't hit the track, bad drivers like my sister, love you, Tabby, just banging back and forth off the metal railing, steering wheel flipping around. But someone's like 10 feet ahead of you and you got your gas floored and you're gaining like an inch every 10 minutes, because they're all going the exact same speed. It's so frustrating. You can't, get a lead or lose, lead. It's probably like that in NASCAR today with all the restrictions and stuff. But hey, um, I guess there's a skill to it because Reddick is proving it ain't luck.
Yeah, Reddick, and just the weekend before, we witnessed greatness with Rory. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's just amazing. I love to see greatness in sports. That's what draws us to it.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
And listen, we know we're going to talk about basketball. We know we're going to talk about hockey. We got playoffs going on, but very quickly, what do we got when it comes to baseball? Because we've got a lot of things going on. A couple notable, early comments. The Mets, what happened? An $8 million payroll. They've now lost 11 straight.
the amazing LOL Mets.
It is no, it's bad, man.
Yeah, the only thing that's on their side, and it's just the phrase we use a lot. It's early. Snap out of it. They better snap out of it quick. But that's trouble landing there. And of course, when they're in a market like New York, they're getting roasted.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but some Mets fans are blaming the fact that this all started when the Mets mascot, I don't off the top of my head remember the name of the mascot, but he's a baseball head.
Yeah.
When the mascot hugged the new mayor, Mondani, he hugged him at one of the games, and it was apparently the kiss of death. Not saying this in a political fashion, but that is when it all started. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. I'm not sure.
Let's get it turned around.
Hey, uh, no love lost here for the Mets. No dislike for the Mets. I'm pretty vanilla on them. I live here in Atlanta area. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm an hour from Atlanta, but of course, I'm an Oakland A's fan, as everyone knows. My National League team, Miami, the Marlins, of course, because my hometown of Miami. Anytime they have a franchise, I'm aligned with it, even if it did come later after I've already picked my teams. But
Yeah.
I don't love the Mets, so it's not hurting my feelings. And the fact that they have a $500 million payroll, just, blowing it out the window, as you drive down the highway, that doesn't hurt my feelings either.
And your A's are still in first place
It's
with
amazing.
they're at 500, 11 and 11.
I love it.
And speaking of the Braves, they're the only team plus 500 in the National League East.
Mm,
That's it. But
wow.
the Central Division, every team
Yeah.
is above 500. That's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun to watch. And out west, it's the Dodgers, the red hot Padres, and then the Diamondbacks, who are playing good baseball too. So the NL East is they got to get their act together, including the Mets.
Yes. Well, and the Astros,
Ooh.
oh, yeah, the basement dwelling Astros doesn't hurt my feelings that they're 8-15, worst to the AL West. I normally have some tissues laying around here just in case the Astros are struggling, but I really can't find them right now. So, oh well, I guess I won't shed a tear because I love it when the Astros stink.
My cousin Fred's gonna get angry. He did go. He's in Houston. He went to the game Friday night, or it might have been Saturday night, between the Cardinals and the Astros. And our family goes way back to Cardinals. To the Cardinals, Cardinals, Cardinals. And I was like, don't be rooting for the Astros. Come on, man. Well, the Cardinals swept them.
Yeah, the Cardinals are one of those teams you mentioned. All that whole division's doing well. Hey, listen, I, I'm not offended when someone mocks my team when they stink, but I will tell you this: it's not like Houston, is an 80-year playoff drought. That they've freaking won, everything they can win. So there's a lot. I'm sorry if you're not, it's like when the Patriots were on top. If you're not a New England fan, I'm not saying you take joy in dancing on someone else's pain, but yeah, you do when it's not your team. I I don't like the Astros at all. So not hurting my feelings. Not sorry, Fred. You know, I mean that lovingly, of course.
Yeah.
But hey, no, it's all good, man. Like you say, it's early. One of the things I've always loved about baseball is a 162 game season. Nobody's luckily winning the division. Nobody's luckily getting into the playoffs. You have to earn it over a long haul. So there are the ups and downs and ebbs and flows, of course. The Dodgers bullpen has been a little bit of a question mark lately, as you know. But again, they'll probably get it figured out.
Edwin Diaz, I'm going to say it right now. You heard it right here on the Undrafted Armchair QBs. Edwin Diaz has arm trouble. He's going to get shelved. His last two outings, forget it. Yesterday, blew it up against the Rockies, and so did Blake Trinan. So we've kind of reverted. And I'm telling you, man, I'm already seeing it right now. The San Diego Padres, have you seen what their team is doing? I think they've won 13 of their last 14.
Yeah, no, they're good.
This reliever for the Padres, if they can get a lead going into the eighth into the ninth, Mason Miller is going to say good night.
It matters. No, it matters when you have a guy that dominant in the pen. That's one game out of every four, one game out of every five, one game out of every three that you can depend on. Closing it out. That's in a safe situation. So it's a big thing. And before we move on, because we got to talk about the playoffs in the other two sports, but if you haven't seen the video of the Baltimore manager Albanese getting a complete rocket shot foul ball into the dugout, getting hit in the face with that foul ball. You're looking at broken jaw, multiple 7, count them, cheek fractures. Boy, man, that's a tough one. Never left for a moment, came back in the dugout. So that's pretty good. Hey,
Wish we
listen,
could say the same for Jared Bednar, the head coach for the Colorado Avalanche. He took a puck to the face and had facial fractures,
yeah,
scratched cornea. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
left. He left that game. That was just
No,
before the
no, that was
playoffs.
a whole that was a whole different. I mean, this was in the face,
Oof.
not like a glancing blow. It obviously broke his jaw and cheek, but that hockey puck to the face, that was brutal. Let's just talk about hockey real quick. I mean, we're just into the hockey playoffs. I'm watching the Flyers beat the Penguins. I'm watching, the Avalanche probably looking like, they're supposed to look. Nothing really jumped out to me in this first round. There were some great games. The Wild just destroyed, the Stars. But
Couldn't
other than
believe it.
that, the one thing that I kind of couldn't help but watch was the Sabres after not being in the playoffs for, a gazillion years. They make the playoffs and win their first playoff game. And I saw, uh, you know, some video of the fans just going absolutely berserk as they should with a late game win over the Bruins. So that was really nice to see.
Big comeback too. They were down 2-0 with 6.5 minutes to go in the third period. It didn't
Yeah.
look good. It looked like the Bruins were going to go in there and get the upset.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
No, that was a really tough one to lose for the Bruins, man. But yeah, I don't have an affiliation with well, my wife's from Syracuse. She went to school in Niagara, in Buffalo. So she's got friends up there. So I do have a connection to them. And and I think, outside they're not playing, the Panthers, no one's playing the Panthers, right? Because the Panthers aren't in it. But I mean, it's hard not to root for them. You know what I mean? As a franchise, it's well deserved.
We all rooted for the Cubs when they got to the World Series when Joe Madden led them to the title. And it was kind of like the Sabres. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them go to the finals. I wouldn't mind to see them go on.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, no,
doesn't bother
it's a
me at
good
all.
story. It's a good story. When I was you probably know this. How to become an A's fan or a Raiders fan. Well, when I grew up in Miami, we only had one team. It was the Miami Dolphins. There were no other teams in any other sport professionally. So I latched on to teams, and I was 13, 12 years old in the early 70s. So who was good in the early 70s? The A's, the Raiders, and of course the Flyers. So I'm a Broad Street Bully fan. So I'd like to see the Flyers. It's been a while for them too, so I'd like to see the Flyers keep it rolling here. And that's a great Pennsylvania matchup, Flyers Penguins. There's got to be a lot of you know little angst in those games.
That got me too with the Flyers, and I still remember vividly the Sports Illustrated edition that came out, and it had a picture of Bobby Clark on the cover with no teeth.
No teeth, I know. Yeah, yeah, Esposito. It was that was just a good time of year. And then finally, man, I hope every game of the Lightning Montreal playoff series is like that one. Um, that game, that's a great hockey game to watch. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the replay of that one.
Last night, Spotify Joe sent me a beautiful comment. It was in 100 years of Canadians hockey. 100 years. No one has ever scored 3 power play goals. Playoff game, regular season game, anything. Never been done. Until last night.
Wow, wow.
Raj Slavkovsky,
Mm,
6'3", 220-pound left winger, goes out and gets the hat trick against the Lightning. And I knew he was going to score. 80% of the time, they don't score on a power play.
yeah,
20% of the time, they do. I knew it was going to be 20% because they'd already scored 2 others power play
of course.
goals last
Yeah,
night. If I wasn't clear, power play goals. 3 of them. for this
Wow.
kid. So that last penalty, I knew it was going to be trouble, and it carried over from the end of regulation into OT. But you know what? Congrats to Montreal. Another game here in Tampa Tuesday night, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we will see what happens. So we'll keep an eye on that. But of course, let's get to the marquee playoff. I mean, nothing's better than you've heard me say this before. In my opinion, nothing is better than NHL playoffs. Right up there with that, compared to the regular season, NBA playoffs. There's a lot to like and there's a lot to dislike in the NBA playoffs right now, depending on who you're a fan of. Let's get into it. Hey, James Harden and the Cavaliers. Our guest Teddy's got he's really high on Cleveland right now, and Cleveland rolled, man. They look pretty good. Max Struss missed 67 games this season, I think. 24 points off the bench. I'll tell you what, man, it's Cleveland looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like the Cavs. I'm going to say it again. The beard. I
Yeah.
just really like James Harden, man. He
Oh
just
man, he
scores.
is he's frustrating if you don't like him or the team he's on because even when he holds the ball down there and somebody puts their arm out to just kind of touch the ball and he jumps up into their arm to get the call. He's a seasoned veteran and he can get under your skin in a hurry. So I think we all like Cleveland in this series, but I'll be honest with you. One of the surprises to me was the Hawks. 20-6 after the All-Star break, they were about as hot as any team could possibly be. And I thought they would go into Madison Square Garden and I'd not necessarily win, but at least, put up a good fight and really make it close. It wasn't even close. I mean, even though it was, I think it was 11-point loss, the Knicks, Brunson and company didn't really have any problem with them at all.
Mentioned both things. The Hawks were coming in. I think they were averaging beating teams by 9 buckets, or no, 9 points. They were kind of on a nice scoring streak. But you also mentioned that you didn't know if they could handle MSG.
Yeah.
So home court advantage comes through for the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I said it with any kind of expertise because we're not experts, but yeah,
Mm,
I mean, I don't know, man. It's just a different, plus it's the playoffs. I don't know, MSG just has a vibe to it in the playoffs for big games, and we'll see. Obviously, it's one game. All these are, even in NHL, nothing you really can base anything off of one game, but I can base something off one game though when I watch the 76ers and the Celtics. Well, I can base a lot off one game. That series is over. And you're hearing it right now, right here. The 32-point victory by the Celtics. Listen to this. How long have the Celtics been playing basketball? How long have the Celtics been in the playoffs in playing basketball? This 32-point victory was the largest margin of victory in the Boston Celtics playoff history in the opening game. I mean, wow, 76ers, no Joel Embiid. Well, who cares? No anybody else either. Terrible.
That's astonishing. 32-point victory in game one of the playoffs or in the playoffs history?
It in game
Opener?
one, in the opening game of the playoffs, but still,
Even that.
that's a lot of playoff opening games. And
Yeah, they're always
it
in the playoffs.
it was terrible, man. I mean, it just I mean, I didn't watch the game for, sit down and watch the game. I just saw some of the game. I think they were trying to find some highlights from the 76ers point of view, and there were none. It was it was it was like, you ever go like YouTube TV, you can catch up through key plays. When you do that, and there's 31 key plays, and every single one had a green, had a white and green, shirt. It was like, oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Um, hey, listen, I didn't have much hope for the 76ers. I kind of think they limped into the playoffs. I think if you're a Pistons fan, you had hope coming in. And again, one game. But wow, the Magic, the Orlando Magic come in and just literally opened the game with a 3-pointer and never trailed after that. That's pretty crazy. If I was a Pistons fan, I'd be a little nervous. I think some people were anyways, but I'd be more nervous.
Yeah, just I read, isn't that like their 10th or 12th straight, 10th, 11th or 12th straight home playoff game
Yes,
loss?
going back to 2008, 11-game losing streak at home in the postseason.
Did their mascot hug the mayor?
In this case, it could be the governor, which might have been worse, but I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll have to look into that. But
We'll have our
listen,
research staff check on that.
we will. Our crack research staff. Not okay. That didn't come out right. But anyways, um, look, it's the longest streak in NBA history. They just can't win at home. I guess that be pretty bad if you can't wait to hit the road when you're in the playoffs. But we'll keep our eyes on that. I don't know if Magic has the tools to do any damage in the playoffs this year at least. But I mean, Detroit really needs to figure out something, I guess. No surprise in the West, the Nuggets. I like them a lot. Um, I think the Nuggets are going to be. I think it's going to come down to the Nuggets, someone having to beat them. Jokic and Murray, 55 points. Uh, nice to see Murray go, 16 for 16 from the line. I'm not surprised by that, but 30 points in the game, that's a deadly combination right there, man. And not much more to say on my end as far. You got any thoughts on that?
No, 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 I just expect the Nuggets to take that series. I agree with you.
Yeah. I know Minnesota was complaining about foul calls and all that all night and stuff like that. And listen, you and I have witnessed some really poor, officiating in all sports. So it can be, one of those off nights, but I don't think that was the reason. Um, Kind of surprised yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. And I did pick the T Wolves to win the series because I like the Ant Man,
Yeah, me
but
too.
I just don't really expect it. Thanks.
No, we'll see. I mean, it's early, but I think the Nuggets are. I don't think they're putting the gas to the floor. Right now, they just didn't look like they were really worried in this game. So we'll see if they have a little bit, even more in the tank than they do right now. Because I think they're just going to outscore people. Speaking of outscoring, whether you're a LeBron James fan or not, the Lakers, everyone knows, are without two of their key people, 56 points worth. And so LeBron comes out and he comes out and has 8 assists in the first quarter to set the tone. 8 assists, is that a lot, Joe? It's the most assists in any quarter of his entire playoff career, which is lengthy. So he came out ready to play. 19 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds, man, in the first quarter. That's pretty amazing.
I love the fact that he showed that leadership. And that kind of surprised me. The Lakers won handily.
Yeah. I mean, now, of course, to be fair, Houston didn't have, Kevin Durant, which I
Yes.
think they will need. And on a side note, it was the first time ever that a father and son played in a NBA playoff game when LeBron and Bronny were on the floor together. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah. And that surprised me about Kevin Durant. I guess something happened. He banged up his knee.
He wasn't supposed to play. At least in this game, at least leading up to the game a few days before, so it wasn't like a last minute decision. But boy, I hope they held him out because they need him to get healthy because they're going to need a healthy Kevin Durant. Again, I said the home court's going to matter in this series, and I think it will. Just a couple more. I don't know if the Suns are just this bad or the Thunder are just this good, but SGA puts up 35 in a complete domination. I thought Boston Philly score was bad. 35 point, just complete demolition of the Suns. And so you look at it 119 to 84, never close.
Ah, the Thunder. We already said it before. Very possible three-peat for the Thunder coming up for everyone to see.
Yeah. I mean, um, I think it's going to be tougher because of this last game I want to talk about. And that's the Spurs. I wouldn't say they dominated the Trailblazers, but man, when you got a 7'4" guy in his third year, so still learning, still growing, physically and mentally. But when you have a 7'4" guy who can literally play like a guard, um, not just in dribbling and ball handling and penetration, but in shooting from the 3-point line, blah, blah, blah. 21 points in the first half. They're not a one-man show, but they're close to it. I mean, this kid is unbelievable, man.
Watching Wemby, love him.
Yeah, yeah. And he's pretty, he's a pretty cool guy. He could kind of have a bigger hat size needed right now, but seems to be pretty well grounded. Um, I think he's got good people around him to kind of keep him that way. Shout out to Tim Duncan because Wemby, with his 35, passed Tim's 32 and set the Spurs franchise record for playoff debut points. So he's got that going for him as well, which is, no slouch to pass there.
And Wemby was on the team that, for the first time ever, many podcasts ago, we discussed the Spurs started this season
Remember that?
5-0.
I know. First time ever. that was the whole crazy thing about that stat. Isn't they started 5-0, but I had to reread it 11 times to make sure I was reading it correctly, that they've never started a season 5-0, like in their franchise, if I remember correctly. It's
Duncan
unbelievable.
couldn't do it.
It's
Wemby did it.
Starting your season just with 5 games, unbelievable. Well, not only that, Wemby did do it, and they haven't been keeping this stat forever, but it goes back a long time. But his 21 points in the first half are the highest scoring output in a player's playoff debut. So, he's got that going for him. So I'll tell you what, it was a 13-point win. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't dominant, but, no one wants to play San Antonio right now. I wouldn't want to play a couple of teams right now, but I think overall the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs are off to a really good start.
And baseball's getting rolling. Golf.
Baseball's rolling. Golf.
Got
We
it
got
all
golf.
going on.
I was going to pull up where golf's going next week, but these signature events are kind of worth watching because the fields are so good. And that was a good move by the PGA. And you know what? We could probably thank Liv. I did say Liv did bring some value. Whether they stick around or not, they did change some of the things in the PGA Tour. Arguably forced to. And one of those is bigger purses and having these bigger fields, because some of these tournaments were dogs, man. I mean, it's like, hey, I can't wait to block off my weekend and watch, the leaderboard with 11 people out of the top 15 I've never heard of. So just not as attracting than to have a showdown between Fitzpatrick and Scottie on the, classic 18th lighthouse hole. That's more like it for a non-major, right?
Yep. I agree, man.
Yeah, I love it. So I'll tell you what, we'll have more to talk about soon enough. But for now, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Hey, thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
Please don't forget your comments are a part of the show. Drop them below. We'll read them all, include them in future shows. Please hit like, tell your friends about us, subscribe, join our conversation every week. Send us some takes, folks, and join us for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok, or wherever you listen. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Joe.
Loved it, man. We'll see you soon. I'll see you this week. Take care, brother. Later.